What's going on, guys? BossBoy6 here, back to your video, and today I have a bit of a viewer response video. Now, I typically try to do these, especially on my YouTube channel, but I just either A, didn't have the, the information to kind of jump on these viewer response videos, but this one is actually a little bit different because this is actually a viewer response to one of my good buddies surpassing 5,000 subscribers just as of yesterday. My good old friend Levi, aka Thrashmaniac99. For those of you who don't know who his channel is, I'll provide a link in the description below. Please sub to him. He's a very cool guy. He's a big, wrestling fan, passionate metal fan, and all that fun stuff. And yeah, him and I, we've been good friends for a little bit now. I don't know how he still talks to me after all the dumb shit and dumb takes I have, but you know what? You live and learn sometimes. But no, in all honesty, he's a very good guy. He's pretty funny, and so overall, a really cool dude to talk about. Now, he did a little bit of a contest entry thing where essentially you can either comment down this video like all the letters of his first and last name, whether it be bands, albums, or album titles, what have you. And just basically just do all that and you'll get a prize. So that's essentially what I plan on doing here. And yeah, there's going to be a couple obscure picks for me, but these are all albums that I have as my personal favorites. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty fun one. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into these albums. Starting off with the letter L, I have Linkin Park's Hybrid Theory. This is the debut album from this American-based new metal, electronic, alternative metal act. These guys kind of have a weird sound going for them, but this is obviously a product of 2000. And yeah, these guys were very big for a number of years. Huge even during the 2000s. And this one was mainly a nostalgia one for me because I grew up listening to these guys. Mainly their old stuff, their new stuff, and I didn't really care about because, well, Chester is A, no longer with us, and B, he's not on the album. But these guys are just kind of fun to listen to. If you just like some good old 2000s nostalgia, radio metal and all that stuff, these guys are obviously the forefathers of that. And while there are some tracks that have been overplayed to death, especially One Step Closer, Crawling, and especially In the End, they are still good songs in the outset of things. But the opening track, Paper Cut, is really good. Points of Authority is a very underrated track. Runaway is fun. A Place for My Head is pretty good. And especially Pushing Me Away has some nice melodies to it. And say what you will about the band, but you know what? Chester, he was a hell of a vocalist. He was a very solid. He has some nice melodies, but he has some really damn good, good harsh vocals as well. But you know what? It's sad that he's no longer with us. So yeah, rest in peace, Chester. This is a very fun album. I still will jam this every once in a while. But yeah, Linkin Park, Hybrid Theory. Alright, the next letter I'm going to be talking about is the letter E. And no, there's no 6 Feet Under on this list, thank God. But for the first E that I have is Exodus, Bonded by Blood. This is the debut album from these Bay Area thrash veterans. When I did my Exodus retrospective, this was one of my favorites, but it wasn't my personal favorite. For the longest time, it was always Shovelhead Kill Machine. But after listening to this album as the years have gone on, I've grown to love this album more as to it's probably my favorite, with a close second may possibly be Fabulous Disaster. But yeah, this is a pretty legendary debut album, of course. It features the late great Paul Baloff on vocals. And this album is just out to just wreck your shit and bring you riffs. And that's essentially what Exodus does, because this is one of the shining moments of Gary Holt's career, obviously, and this band really got put on the map with this album. Of course, the title track's awesome, the eponymous track Exodus, and then There Were None, A Lesson of Violence. Piranha has some really cool riffing. The nice acoustic intro on No Love is really nice. Deliver Us Evil, Strike of the Beast, one of my favorite Exodus songs. And while Paul is not technically a great vocalist, he's just like very, rabid. I love how maniacal his voice is, especially on this album in particular, because he just sounds like he just wants to stab everyone and everything that's in his path. But, yeah, this is just, fucking killer stuff. Tom Hutton's drumming is fantastic, and, yeah, I can't really say much more about this. I haven't said. I wish I had the original album cover. This one's, I prefer the original over this one, but yeah, this is a fucking classic. If you just want some classic, just violent thrash, you can't go wrong with some Exodus. So yeah, Exodus, Bonded by Blood. Alright, the next letter I have is the letter V. And there was a couple that I was thinking about putting on here, but I ultimately went with Van Halen with Van Halen 1, or their first self-titled album. This is the debut album from this LA-based hard rock, kind of proto-metal act, because there are some more metallic moments that this band has had, but they're mainly a hard rock act. These guys are obviously legends, and I can't really say much about this debut album that hasn't been said already. It's a glorified greatest hits album. Like, every song that is on this album is played to death on the radio, damn near. Like, of course, Running with the Devil, obviously. Eruption, which really showcases Eddie Van Halen's technical mastery. You Really Got Me, Ain't Talking About Love, Jamie's Crying, Atomic Punk, Feel Your Love Tonight, Ice Cream Man. Even the deep cuts like Little Dreamer, On Fire, and I'm the One. Those are some really damn good deep cuts on this album. But yeah, of course, David Lee Roth just kind of, going all over the map on this album, essentially. But it's just a fun, classic 80s album that, I wouldn't really change for the better. But yeah, maybe their best album. I don't know. There may be a couple of contenders, like the Van Halen 2 was a close second. And I really dig 1984. I really dig that stuff. And maybe a Sammy Hagar era kind of album or two I actually really dig. But yeah, you can't go wrong with the debut. This is some absolutely fantastic hard rock / kind of heavy metal stuff. But yeah, Van Halen with Van Halen 1, or their self-titled album. Alright, the fourth album I have, and the first of three eyes. No, not the Kurt Angle style of the three eyes, but the first one I have is Iced Earth Burnt Offerings. This is the third studio album from these American power metal icons. I cannot express how much I adore this album. Like, this is a desert island album for me personally. And not only do I consider this the best power metal album of all time, it features probably the best power metal song of all time in Dante's Inferno. And the reason why I say this is the best power metal album, and some people might be thinking, oh, what about Halloween, and what about Blind Guardian, and all that stuff. What this album thrives on that Blind Guardian and Halloween really don't is the riffs. The riffs on this album are fucking heavy. Like, it is probably the heaviest power metal album of all time. There might be a couple contenders in there, but Iced Earth knows how to deliver riffs. I mean, say what you will about John Schaefer, but the dude knows how to write riffs like it's nothing. Like, the opening title track in particular is just Riff City in particular. Last December is just, has this nice kind of chuggy groove to it. Diary, Brainwashed, Creator Failure, probably the doomiest thing that band has ever done. That sounds like full-on Candlemass at some point. Even the little spoken word experiment that is Pure Spirit has very haunting cleans from the one and only Matt Barlow, which this is his debut album, and far and away the voice of Iced Earth. I mean, a lot of people will probably agree with me with that, but my God, his vocals I've always loved. And of course, Dante's Inferno, one of the greatest metal songs of all time in my opinion. It's nearly 16 and a half minutes of just riffs and a literal musical roller coaster because it talks about the divine comedy of Dante's Inferno, where a man is sent to hell to get into purgatory to get into heaven, and it's absolutely great. You get your power metal moments, you get your thrash. There's elements of symphonic, elements of doom, there's elements of goth thrown in there too for good measure. This album is just fucking incredible from start to finish. I'm actually glad I got the original album cover because the new one, I can really take or leave. But this is the 2015 reissue, I believe. But yeah, this is just fucking killer stuff. I can't really express how much I love this album. And yeah, if you just want some heavy power metal, please check this bad boy out. Iced Earth Burnt Offerings. Alright, now we're going on to the McEntire part of the video, and this one I feel like you might get a little bit of a smile for because this is his favorite band of all time, and the letter we're starting off with C, and I went with Metallica, Ride the Lightning. No, it's not Master of Puppets, Levi, but I've always liked this album a little bit more in my opinion, but I know you love Master of Puppets, so at least I gave you Metallica. There, I hope that kind of made your day a little bit, but yeah, this is the second album from these California thrash metal legends, obviously. The guys that basically kicked off the entire Bay Area thrash scene right there. And yeah, this has always been my favorite Metallica album. Even though Master of Puppets is a great follow-up, and I love Kill 'Em All, I've always loved this album more. The production, not as clean sounding as Kill 'Em All. It's a little more gritty, a little more raw. But the songwriting is so fucking good on this album. Like Fight Fire with Fire, obviously a classic to this very day. The title track, they get a little more proggy on some of the songs on this album because there are some tracks that are over 6 minutes on this album, but really shows off their songwriting maturity and songwriting chops. But excuse me. The title track has always been one of my personal favorites. For Whom the Bell Tolls has this nice marching groove to it. Fade to Black, probably the saddest song they've ever written because of just how somber and how melancholic it is. It's actually a pretty sad song if you think about it. And then gets right into the thrash with Trapped in the Rise, which has become somewhat of a cult classic as the years have gone on. It was a pretty hidden gem initially, but now as the years have gone on, a lot of people really dug that song. Creeping Death obviously is a big standout, and The Call of Cthulhu might possibly be my favorite instrumental. It's tied between that and Orion personally, but that's a fantastic song. A little bit of that Lovecraftian love right there. The track Escape is kind of a divisive song. I personally like it. Yeah, it's a little more commercial, but they get more commercial on the Black Album, so, yeah, that's all I can really say, but, yeah, this album is a fucking masterpiece. I've always loved this album. If you guys have not checked out this album, then I don't know what to tell you, but, yeah, this is a bona fide thrash classic, and it is my favorite Metallica album, so, Metallica, Ride the Lightning. Alright, next up we have the letter C, and the album I went with, Candlemass, King of the Grey Islands. This, I think, is the 10th studio album from these Swedish doom metal legends, or doom metal gods at this point. This is the first one with Robert Lowe on vocals, formerly of Solitude Aeternus. He would actually join back up with Solitude Aeternus when he got done with Candlemass. But this has always been my favorite Candlemass album, and I really can't explain why it is in some ways, but I've always loved this album for how unbelievably heavy it is. This is possibly their heaviest album, and they made some heavy albums in the 80s too, but I don't know, just something about this album in particular has always stood out to me, especially when it comes to like the melodies, but mainly the riffs. Because that's what you're kind of listening for Candlemass in some ways, is the bleak and just droning riffs. Especially on tracks like Devil's Seed, Destroyer is one of the big standouts to me. That is probably the heaviest riffs they've ever written because that song sounds like the fucking apocalypse is coming. But you also get some more kind of like nice chanty songs like Emperor of the Void, Of Stars and Smoke, Demonia 6, Man of Shadows. has one of my favorite choruses in the band's entire history. I love the chorus of that song in particular. Clear Sight's another big standout, but the final track, Embracing the Sticks, is just a full-on masterpiece in my opinion. I've always loved this album. I know there are people that do like this album but don't have this in high regards like me personally, but I've always loved this album. I don't know why, it just, whenever those riffs hit, man, it just hits me differently. But yeah, Candlemass, King of the Grey Islands, one of my favorite albums of all time. Alright, I believe the second of 3 eyes I have is Immolation, Close to a World Below. This is the 5th studio album from these New York death metal legends. I did an Immolation ranking on my channel about a year ago, so if you want more information, feel free to check that out. Feel free to watch that video in general, but yeah, this is my favorite Immolation album. This album, I feel like, is kind of the best of when it comes to Immolation albums, because there is just something otherworldly, just dark and evil on this album. Like, the evil got stepped up somehow with this album in particular, and like, they made some kind of evil albums too, like Dawn of Possession, Hereinafter, and to a lesser extent Failures for God. So wait, no, this would actually be their 4th album, not their 5th, my bad. I just now rethought about it, but yeah, this is just fucking incredible from start to finish, and there's just something that is just very, like the production on this album just makes this kind of a haunting listen throughout. But absolute standout tracks, Howard Coward, Father You're Not a Father has some fucked up lyrics. Furthest from the Truth, Fall from a High Place, Unpardonable Sin, Lost Passion, Put My Hand in the Fire is a big standout, and of course the title track, which is, I think, the longest track they've ever done. It's a little over 8 minutes, about 8.5 minutes, and it's just nothing but riffs and atmosphere. And despite how kind of evil this album is, it's shockingly catchy. Like, some of the riffs are pretty catchy on this album, which goes to show you, hey, even though we're blasphemous as all hell, we know how to make catchy riffs. So yeah, you have that going for it. But top to bottom, this is an absolute death metal masterpiece in my opinion. I have always loved this album. One of my favorite albums of the 2000s, and yeah, if you are Christian, I sincerely apologize, but please give this a listen. You'll thank me later. So yeah, Immolation, Close to a World Below. Alright, the next up is the letter N, and this one is a more recent album, and it might be a little bit of recency bias, but I still think this is a fantastic album. Nile, The Underworld Awaits Us All. This is the latest studio offering from the South Carolina-based brutal technical death metal act. The reason why I say brutal is because they do get brutal in some songs, but they're mainly a technical death metal act. But I actually did a full ranking of this band before this album came out, and when this album was starting to drop some singles, I was on it like a fat kid on a cupcake, because I love this band. This is one of my favorite death metal bands, and I just love how different they are from your typical death metal band, because these guys are mixing in some more Egyptian themed lyrics, which I think is really cool. And when the singles dropped, I was so stoked for it, especially the first single, which, it's a long ass title, but fuck it, I'm saying it anyway. Chapter for Not Being Hung Upside Down on a Stake in the Underworld, MAD, Feces by the Four Apes. Excuse me, I had to clear my throat. That is a fantastic song. That is just nothing but riffs in particular. The Strike with Secret Fangs, a nice, like, short, sweet, to the point kind of ripper. And I believe the final... I'm trying to think, what was the other single? I think the other single was Doctrine of Last Things, which, holy shit, that riff is going to cave in heads. But the opening track, Stellea Vultures, absolutely fantastic stuff. Nakata 2, Enter the Golden Age, that's some great stuff right there. Overlords of the Black Earth, like, especially the second half of the sound, that's where things really started getting a lot more dark. Especially Under the Curse of the One God. That song is just fucking insane from start to finish. True Gods of the Desert, the title track, and especially the instrumental Lament for the Destruction of Time. That is just nothing but just riffs. This might be George Colias' best performance. And considering the dude was on Annihilation of the Wicked, that is saying plenty there, folks. And of course, Carl Sanders, especially when he was, 63 when this album dropped, he is ripping his dick off, and it's absolutely awesome. I can't get enough of this. I believe this was my number 3 from last year. And, yeah, I still state by my opinion on it. This is a fucking masterpiece right here. Take a shot every time I say masterpiece. You'll probably be 4 shots in right now. But, yeah, this is just fantastic stuff. This might actually be my number 2 album. Like, I love Annihilation of the Wicked a little bit more than this one, but I don't know. Like, this album has just grown on me as time has gone on, so excuse me. I woke up not that long ago, but yeah, this is some damn good stuff. Please, if you love Nile and you have not checked this album out, what are you waiting for? Absolutely fantastic stuff. Nile, The Underworld awaits us all. Alright, we're just about done here, folks. We only got 4 more albums left. And for the letter T, I went with Testament, The New Order. This is the second studio album from these Bay Area thrash legends. I did not appreciate as much... I didn't appreciate this album as much when I did listen to it. I still love this album. But as time has gone on, this might actually be my favorite Testament album. Because beforehand, when I did my retrospective, when I was actually sick with COVID at the time and I didn't know about it, I didn't have this album in high regard as a lot of people did. I still liked it, but I don't know. I just didn't go back to it as much, especially with the more modern output, like Formation of Damnation and especially Titans of Creation, which was my favorite album for a long time, and then I realized, oh yeah, the early stuff still exists. I better go jam that stuff, and this one might actually be my number 1 Testament album. If I was actually going to redo my ranking properly, this might actually be my favorite album, because as much as I love the New, or not the New Order, as much as I love the Legacy, I think the New Order kind of, well, what am I thinking of? Sorry, I'm blanking. They kind of upped the production a little bit and made the songwriting a little more tighter on this album. Like, the opening track, Eerie Inhabitants, is absolutely fantastic. The title track, Trial by Fire, Into the Pit, which is a big standout. Disciples of the Watch. Oh, this is such a good song. Disciples of the Watch, obey! Ah, so good. The Preacher, A Day of Reckoning, and Musical Death, The Dirge. Absolute killer stuff. The only thing that's a big, really sticks out like a sore thumb on this album is the Aerosmith cover of Nobody's Fault. It's not a bad cover per se, but out of the songs on here, it is by far the weakest weakest song on this entire album. And, yeah, it kind of sucks too, because if they would have taken that song off of this album, this would be a flat out 10 out of 10, but that song exists, and it's easily skippable. It's not actually a bad cover, but it's like, you could have taken it off, and you really wouldn't miss much. But yeah, this is a fantastic album, and one of the best thrash albums I've ever heard, so yeah, Testament, The New Order. Alright, the final I that I'm going to be talking about for McIntyre is Iron Maiden's Power Slave. This is the 5th studio album from these British heavy metal legends. This is the true Maiden album, in my opinion. Like, the albums beforehand were good, like especially Killers and Peace of Mind. This right here, I felt like, is what really is when songwriting really hit for Maiden, and the melodies got a lot more up in the mix on this album, and just top to bottom, this is just some killer stuff. Now, this is the 2014 remaster I have, but of course the original is really damn good. Really damn good as well. Of course, produced by the late great Martin Birch. Ace is High, 2 Minutes to Midnight, which might be my favorite Maiden song of all time. Flash of the Blade, one of my favorite riffs they've ever done too. The Duelist, the title track, and of course the perma classic and the epicness that is Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Even though people have kind of criticized that song as the years have gone on, I will agree you could have probably cut a couple minutes off of it and it would have been better, but I'm not complaining too much. It's probably the best epic they've ever done because some of the other ones I'm not too big on personally, but yeah, this is just some killer stuff. This is one of Nico's better performances, and this is one of Bruce's shining moments too. So yeah, that's cool, and that album artwork is fucking awesome. That is just some killer artwork right there. So yeah, not much more I need to really say about this one. This is an all-time classic, and it's my favorite Maiden album. So yeah, absolutely killer stuff. Iron Maiden, Power Slave. Alright, we're on the penultimate letter here for the letter R. And this one I absolutely adore. I just realized one of my CDs got cracked. That is just fantastic. But anyways, we are on to the letter R. And I have Razor, Violent Restitution. This, I think, is the 5th or 6th studio album from these Canadian speed thrash legends. This is one of the most aggressive albums to come out of the 80s and might quite possibly be the best thrash album to come out of that time frame. I don't know. There's a lot of damn good stuff there, but holy shit, this thing is just going off the fucking rails when it comes to speed. Like, this thing will make you go 80 in a school zone. It's absolutely ridiculous. And these guys know how to make some fast music, don't get me wrong, but there's something about the production on this album that just makes it even more just visceral and more hostile than it actually is. Like, Sheepdog's vocals are just insane on this album. Like, it's just I can't put into words of just how unbelievably insane his voice is. Dave Carlo is just writing riffs like it's nobody's business. And the songs themselves are fucking incredible. Like, the opening Martial Arts is one of my favorite instrumentals. That is like 2.5 minutes of riffs and blazing speed. Hypertension, Taste the Floor, Behind Bars, Below the Belt, I'll say it once. Enforcer, holy shit, that chug is amazing. The title track, Out of the Game, might possibly be my favorite Razor song. Edge of the Razor, Eve of the Storm, Discipline, about said a disciple. Discipline is kind of kinky if you think about the lyrics, but hey, it's a fun song. Fed Up and Soldier of Fortune. This is some damn good stuff. Unfortunately, this will be the last time to feature Sheepdog on vocals, but hey, he went out with a bang if you ask me. So yeah, if you guys have seen my Razor ranking, this was my clear-cut number one of my favorite thrash albums of all time. I can't get enough of it. It's killer. You love it. I love it. Everyone loves it. And yeah, not much more I can really say about this one. Razor, Violent Restitution. And finally, the last album and the last letter we're going to be talking about today, folks, is the letter E. And I went with the more recent album, Enslaved, Heimdall. This is the latest studio offering from these, I guess, originally folk black metal, now progressive black metal act. I mean, there's some kind of black metal-ish moments, but they're more proggy more than anything. This, I didn't have a lot of expectations for because I'm not really a prog guy myself, but I went in with an open mind and wanted to go in with fresh ears because I've heard this band's nothing but consistent. And this, I believe, was a top 10 for me of 2023. This album is fucking awesome from start to finish. Like, literally, almost every track on this album is an eargasm from start to finish. Like, the opening track, Behind the Mirror, is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I didn't think this thing got damaged beforehand, but I guess it's fine. Congelia Kingdom is so damn fun and catchy. The Eternal Sea, Cavern Caravans to the Outer Worlds, and the title track in particular. Like, and there's like some more thrashy moments on this album as well, but yeah, I can't really express how much I unapologetically love this album. This is just some damn good stuff right here, and it makes me want to check out some of their other stuff because I was pretty hesitant to look at their stuff, but I might have to now if it's going to be albums like this. But yeah, this is just absolutely incredible stuff. If you just want to listen to this when you're driving to Nordland, you can't go wrong with this one. So yeah, Enslaved, Heimdall. And that, folks, concludes this video right here, right now. I encourage you guys to do this kind of thread too, because this is actually a pretty fun video to do. Again, his name is Levi McIntyre. It's LeviMcIntire. Again, feel free to do a video showcasing albums, bands, you know, whatever you want to think. And yeah, give the guy some love. He deserves it. Just hit 5K yesterday. Again, I'll post a link to his channel in the description. I'll probably just add him there. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tap that big subscribe button, and tap the bell so when I upload, you guys will be notified. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Most importantly, join the herd. Talk to you guys in the next video. Peace out.